Have you ever noticed that voice? You know, the one that's constantly running a commentary in your head,
Yeah.
narrating your life, questioning your decisions, sometimes even uh, arguing with itself?
Oh, yeah. It never really seems to quiet down, does it?
Not really.
It's truly like having, well, like an incessant, uninvited house guest just sort of occupying prime real estate right there in your mind.
Exactly.
And that right there, that's where we're starting our deep dive today. We're going to really get into the profound concept of self and inner freedom, drawing some powerful insights from Michael Allen Singer's book, The Untethered Soul.
Right. And our mission today, it isn't really to lean on traditional psychology or, the latest philosophical debates. Instead, we're turning to just one powerful expert on this subject, you, the listener.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is designed to act like a mirror, really,
Yeah.
helping you discover your true self and unlock genuine inner freedom and happiness just by exploring your own inner experience.
Because, as Singer points out, you already possess the innate wisdom to find and free yourself. We've maybe just gotten a bit distracted, a little disoriented along the way.
Yeah.
The goal here is to guide you back to a state of, no confusion, no blame, and to truly understand what it means. That old phrase, to thine own self be true.
So, okay, if we're constantly hearing this inner voice, it really begs the question, who exactly is the I that's hearing it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's dig into Singer's take on this elusive self. When you first think about who you are, it feels pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
It does, initially.
But the book suggests it's far more complex than we imagine. Even traditional psychology, like Freud's id, ego, and superego. That doesn't quite capture the you that's observing all of it, right?
Exactly. Singer asks, which of these conflicting forces are we really meant to be true to? It gets complicated fast.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is that the book doesn't try to define self for you. Instead, it offers its chapters as mirrors for seeing yourself from different angles. It basically says that you are, in fact, the ultimate authority on your own inner experience. You're just being guided to reconnect with, a profound knowledge you already possess.
Yeah.
It's just waiting to be rediscovered.
And this journey, it really begins by looking closely at that incessant inner voice. You know the one.
Oh, I know it well.
Wasn't I supposed to call Fred? I should have. Oh, my God, I can't believe I forgot. He's going to be so mad. He may never talk to me again. Maybe I should stop and call him right now. No, I don't want to stop the car right now.
It's amazing, isn't it, how it can literally take both sides of an argument at the same time.
It really is.
It just wants to keep talking, regardless of which side it takes, and often regardless of whether it's actually helpful or not.
Right.
The foundational insight here is profound, but it's also incredibly simple. There is a voice talking, and there is you who notices the voice talking.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. If you look at three objects, say, a flower pot, a photograph, and a book, you realize you are the one looking, not the objects themselves. Well, the same fundamental separation applies to your inner voice. You're the one aware of the voice.
That's quite revelatory when you really sit with it. Even when you're not particularly bothered by anything, it's still narrating the world.
Constantly.
Look at that dogwood. The green leaves are so beautiful against the white flowers. Look how many flowers there are. Wow, it's so full. I mean, why do we even need that commentary? We're already seeing the dogwood.
Well, the book explains that this narration creates a kind of personal presentation of the world. It sort of buffers reality, makes you feel a bit more comfortable, maybe more in control. It integrates what's happening outside with your internal thoughts, your value systems.
So you're saying our consciousness often experiences our mental model of reality, not raw reality itself.
In many ways, yes. And that brings us directly to a really evocative concept from the book, your inner roommate.
Your inner roommate. I love this metaphor. It just captures so much.
It does, doesn't it?
The book really dives deep into this inner voice, personifying it as an inner roommate that always has a problem with something and will never be content. It's disturbingly accurate. This roommate can totally ruin a wedding day or even your wedding night. Or, like you said, you're trying to relax, watch TV, and it's right there. Did you turn off the light downstairs? You better go check. Not now. I'll do it later. It's just constantly demanding attention.
Imagine, just for a moment, really externalizing this voice. Picture it as a separate person sitting right next to you, constantly chattering away about every little thing, never satisfied.
Oh, it'd be exhausting.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbearable.
Exactly. And the author challenges us, to question this roommate's credentials. Think about that story he tells. where the inner voice gave terrible advice about a girlfriend not calling back.
Yeah, building up all this anxiety.
Right, only for it to turn out she was planning a surprise anniversary dinner. So the author asks, wouldn't you fire them on the spot? How could you ever trust their advice again? Well, are you going to fire your inner roommate?
That's a really pointed question.
Yeah.
And it leads to a pretty bold claim he makes, that this inner voice, this incessant troublemaker, is, and I quote, the cause of every problem you've ever had. Could you maybe unpack that a bit? Because, I mean, external circumstances often seem like the real issue, right?
They do seem that way. But it's radical because Singer shifts the focus entirely inward. He suggests that while, yes, external events happen, it's our internal reaction to them, driven by this constant commentary and its judgments, that actually creates our experience of a problem.
Ah, I see.
And so true progress, real change, begins with the genuine desire to be free of that internal struggle rather than, constantly trying to control the uncontrollable external world.
And that desire to be free, that leads us then directly to the seat of the witness.
Precisely. This is really the core of liberation in the book. It's the part of you that can see the inner disturbance. The very fact that you can see it means you are not it.
Right.
It establishes a clear subject-object relationship in your inner experience. You are the subject, the witness, and your problems, your thoughts, your emotions are just objects that you observe passing before you.
So a worldly person, as he calls them, typically tries to solve their problems by changing things outside, right? Hoping that if circumstances are different, they'll finally feel okay inside.
Yeah, rearranging the deck chairs, so to speak.
But the book suggests nobody has ever truly become okay just by changing things outside. The spiritually minded person, on the other hand, understands this distinction. They change their inner frame of reference by taking the seat of witness consciousness.
And you can feel this right now. Try a simple awareness exercise. Consciously say hello inside your head. Just silently. Say it a few times.
Okay, hello.
Now notice that you are aware of that thought. You heard the hello. That simple act highlights the separation. There's the thought and there's you, the awareness of the thought. It shows your existence isn't dependent on thinking. You're aware of your presence even when thoughts stop, maybe in deep meditation or just a quiet moment.
So you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not even your body. You're just aware of them.
You are the awareness itself.
It's astounding, too, when you think about how fast consciousness is compared to thought. You glance at a room and instantly take in all the detailed colors, light, the grain of the wood.
Instantaneously.
But how long would it take your mental voice to describe all that detail? It would take ages.
Exactly. Consciousness is immediate. Singer states it very clearly. Consciousness is the highest word you will ever utter. There is nothing higher or deeper than consciousness. Consciousness is pure awareness. It's a powerful statement.
It really is.
And consider this extreme thought experiment he suggests. Imagine a piano in the room just ceasing to exist. Then maybe all the people in the room disappear from your world. You'd likely be okay, right? You'd still be here.
Yeah, I'd still be aware.
But now imagine your awareness ceasing to exist. Can you even conceive of that?
No, that's impossible. If awareness ceased, I wouldn't be there to know it.
Exactly. As the book powerfully puts it, I am the one who sees. From back in here somewhere, I look out, and I am aware of the events, thoughts, and emotions that pass before me. This is where you truly live. This pure awareness is your constant, undeniable reality.
Okay, so if we're not our thoughts or emotions, what is all that inner noise then? And why does it sometimes feel so draining?
That's a crucial question. And it leads us to the idea of inner energy. A tremendous amount of energy is actually expended on, creating thoughts, holding on to thoughts, recalling thoughts, generating emotions, controlling emotions, and disciplining powerful inner drives.
Right, it feels like work sometimes.
It is. And what's truly fascinating is Singer's idea that this energy doesn't just come from food or sleep. It's actually always available inside you. It's like a spontaneous inner current.
The book uses such a powerful example for this. The breakup scenario.
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
You imagine being completely drained for months after a breakup, can't get out of bed, life feels impossible. Then suddenly your ex calls, wants to reconcile, says they can't live without you. How long does it take for you to suddenly jump out of bed, shower, feel totally alive and filled with vibrant energy?
Practically instantaneous.
Right. So where did that surge come from? It wasn't a sandwich or a nap.
Exactly. You have, as Singer puts it, a phenomenal amount of energy inside of you that literally gushes up spontaneously from deep inside.
So why don't we feel it all the time?
Because, he argues, you block it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You block it by closing your heart, by closing your mind, and by pulling yourself into a restrictive space inside. The heart, he suggests, acts like a kind of spiritual valve or, like the yogis talk about chakras.
An energy center.
Right, it opens and closes. And this directly affects the energy flow, leading to feelings of love and openness, or conversely, that feeling of overwhelming lethargy.
And this blockage, this stuck energy, has a name in the book. Samskara.
Yes, samskara. Singer explains how impressions from everyday experiences normally just, they pass right through you. Think about driving down a highway and seeing thousands of trees.
You don't remember each one?
Exactly. They don't leave a lasting impact. You process them, you move on.
Okay.
But when you resist an experience, maybe you clutch onto it, wanting it desperately, or you recoil from it in fear or anger it didn't make it through, it gets stuck inside, sort of cycling around itself.
And that is a samskara, a stored past energy pattern.
That's the idea. The physics of this blockage, as Singer describes it, is like energy in atoms, just perpetually circling itself. All these samskaras we collect throughout life get stored, he says, primarily in our energetic heart center.
So they're like encrusting the valve of the spiritual heart.
That's the metaphor he uses, yeah. Encrusting the valve, restricting the natural energy flow, which can lead to these profound states like depression or chronic anxiety.
And when a samskara gets, triggered or stimulated,
It opens like a flower, as he puts it. It releases that stored energy. And suddenly, flashes of past thoughts and feelings rush into your consciousness. He gives the example of a 60-year-old suddenly feeling the fears and insecurity of a 5-year-old.
wow, that image of an emotional memory opening like a flower, it really highlights how deeply these past experiences can sit with us. So is it fair to say that understanding samskaras helps us see that our current reactions aren't always actually about the present moment?
Absolutely. It shows us that much of our reactivity, maybe most of it, is actually a replay of old, unprocessed energy patterns.
Okay.
So this presents you with a really critical choice. Do you want to try to change the world so it doesn't disturb your samskaras, avoid everything that might trigger you? Or are you willing to go through this process of purification?
And the solution offered is not fighting them.
Right. It's to sit deeply enough inside to stop fighting the stored energy patterns and simply watch them come up. Observe them without getting entangled. Allow them to finally pass right through you.
And this allows the natural flow of energy to purge them.
That's the idea, to purge the stored patterns from your heart.
The reward for this, then, is described as a permanently open heart, living in love without that restricting valve. It's about removing your inner thorn.
Because people often limit their whole lives, don't they, to compensate for these inner disturbances, avoiding situations, people, even certain thoughts.
Yeah, building walls.
But the key, Singer suggests, is the ability to simply permit the disturbances to come up and you can let them go. Don't fight, don't cling, just allow.
The book encourages us to be like an explorer in our inner world, to witness difficult experiences, maybe loneliness, observe how it affects you physically, note the sensations.
Knowing that if you don't get absorbed in it, the experience will soon pass. It's about cultivating that witness perspective, even with uncomfortable stuff. The ultimate invitation really is just enjoy all of it.
Which doesn't mean liking pain, right?
It means allowing the full spectrum of experience to flow through you without that internal resistance, without closing down.
Okay, so what does all this mean for our everyday lives? For the pursuit of genuine, lasting freedom, how do we apply this?
Well, it leads directly to what the book calls transcending the tendency to close. Spiritual growth, it explains, is deeply linked to this underlying energy field that creates our mental and emotional patterns.
Right.
And closing down, shutting your heart, closing your mind, it's fundamentally a defensive act. It's protecting what Singer calls a hypersensitive psyche that tends to overreact to minor things like, worrying constantly about a tiny blemish or feeling mortified if you burp in public.
It's almost ironic, isn't it? Our attempts to shield ourselves from these small discomforts can actually become the source of much deeper, more persistent suffering. Because, as he says, it locks your illness inside yourself.
Exactly. It perpetuates the cycle of sensitivity and fear. But true growth involves moving towards a unified self, where there is simply you watching the dance of the psyche, not getting lost in it.
And the reward for not protecting that psyche, for allowing everything to flow.
Liberation, Singer says. The ability to move through the world without a problem on your mind. That's a truly powerful promise, isn't it?
It really is. But he also warns about the danger of not letting go.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Activated energy, those stimulated samskaras, they act like a magnet. They pull your consciousness in, causing you to lose your clear seat of self.
Aye.
And this leads to moments, maybe hours, maybe even years of being completely lost in your stuff, just absorbed in the mental and emotional patterns. The book calls this the anatomy of falling.
Falling into the disturbance.
Right. And when you're pulled into that disturbed energy, your perceptions actually become distorted. Things that look beautiful now look ugly. Your whole view of the world shifts.
The call to action here is incredibly powerful and immediate. The moment you start seeing that you don't like the people you used to like, let go.
Let go of the pattern that's causing that shift in perception.
Right. It might be harder the deeper you are, the more ingrained the pattern.
Yeah.
But the ascent back to the seat of self is always possible.
Always. And the secret of the ascent, he says, is to never look down, always look up. Keep your focus on awareness, not on the disturbance you're trying to escape. Letting go allows that blocked energy to be released, to flow up, and ultimately to strengthen you.
In this commitment to letting go, this is the prerequisite for what he calls the path of unconditional happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
This means making a fundamental decision that you do not want to suffer anymore, period.
He references Buddha's insight here, that all of life is suffering, but not because life is inherently bad.
No, but because most people simply don't know what it's like to not suffer. He uses that analogy of a world where everyone is always sick. They just think that's normal. They don't realize there's another way to be.
And we often give our minds this completely impossible task, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
To make everyone like us, to control all external events, to make sure we get everything we want and absolutely nothing we don't want.
The mind constantly works on this impossible project, and Singer suggests it literally breaks the psyche. It causes this underlying fear and incessant neurotic thought. It's exhausting just thinking about trying to achieve all that.
It really is.
Which leads to the ultimate truth Singer offers. It's simple, but revolutionary. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything, and that's the only time everything will be okay.
Wow. So stop expecting the mind to fix inner problems.
Exactly. Because it's the mind's constant attempts to control and fix and manage that are actually creating the suffering in the first place.
So how do we practice this? He suggests some practical things like awareness practices.
Yeah, using trigger points in daily life. For instance, maybe every time you get in or out of your car or every time you answer the phone, just take a brief moment, pause, remember who you are, the witness, and what's going on inside.
Oh, okay.
It's about weaving that witness awareness into the fabric of your day, building what he calls persistently centered consciousness.
And keeping things in perspective, too, right? He talks about the vastness of the universe.
You're just standing on one little ball of dirt and spinning around one of the stars. From that viewpoint, do you really, really care if you forgot someone's name at a party? Or what people think about your clothes?
Puts it in perspective.
It does. Singer's challenge is crystal clear. If you want out, if you want a decent life, you had better not devote your life to avoiding psychological pain. You can't build a life around dodging discomfort.
So we basically have two fundamental choices. Either keep struggling with the outside world by constantly trying to avoid inner pain,
Which is a losing battle.
or decide to get rid of the inner pain itself, the source of the struggle.
Exactly. And that second path, Singer argues, is the highest spiritual path. Unconditional happiness.
Unconditional happiness. That sounds huge.
It is. It means choosing to be happy, regardless of what happens. Missed flights, car dents, even, he suggests, the death of loved ones. Events don't determine whether or not you're going to be happy. They're just events. You determine whether or not you're going to be happy.
That's a staggering level of responsibility, but also a profound liberation, isn't it?
It is. It puts the power entirely back in your hands. And the simple key to staying happy, he says,
What is it?
just don't close your heart. That's it. Question the belief that there's any benefit, any payoff to closing your heart when someone cuts you off in traffic. Does it help you? Does it make the situation better?
No, it just ruins your own day, right?
Exactly. It just perpetuates that inner struggle. He suggests meditation can help strengthen this centered consciousness and relax the heart. It's a path that, he claims, solves daily life and it solves spiritual life.
And he connects this to the divine, saying, the greatest gift one can give to God is to be pleased with his creation.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? He poses that playful but profound question. Do you think God likes to be around people that are happy or people that are miserable?
Yeah.
Imagine God asking a human, hey, how are you doing? And they just complain endlessly about everything. Compare that to someone who says, I'm ecstatic. Everything I look at just creates waves of joy inside me. Who do you think God wants to hang out with?
Point taken.
It's a way of highlighting that our inner state matters. It connects to the ancient yogic name for God, Satchitananda,
Which means.
eternal conscious bliss. God is ecstasy, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you want to find God, if you want to connect with that divine source, learn to be joyful. It's not about searching outside, but about aligning your inner state.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's look at what Singer says lies beyond the self. How do we truly embrace the infinite?
Well, he starts with something perhaps unexpected. He says it's a great cosmic paradox, but one of the best teachers in all of life turns out to be death.
Death is a teacher. How so?
Death reveals, first, that you are not your body. It highlights the ultimate insignificance of all the things we cling to so tightly. And it levels all human differences, rich, poor, smart, not so smart. Death comes for everyone.
So the question becomes, are you waiting until that very last moment for death to be your teacher? Or will you allow its wisdom, its perspective, to inform how you live your life now?
Exactly. He asks you to do that thought experiment. If you knew you only had 1 week left to live, how would your priorities change instantly? What would really matter?
Everything non-essential will just fall away.
Right. So what would you do with all those weeks you've already been given, all those years? What are you doing with life? He asks.
And the beauty of embracing this truth, he says, is that you don't have to change your life. You just change how you live your life.
It's about the quality of presence, how much of you is doing it. He uses that poignant image of a hospital patient just longing to feel the rain on their skin one more time. The joy isn't just in the rain itself, but in their capacity to fully experience it.
So if you live every experience fully, then death doesn't take anything from you. You don't need more time, necessarily, but more depth of experience.
And death's ultimate promise is the realization that all things are temporal. They're all just passing through time and space. Understanding this gives profound peace. It creates the scarcity that makes life so precious, making every single moment feel valuable.
This perspective leads naturally into another ancient teaching he explores, the secret of the middle way, the Tao.
Yes, the balance. From science, we know the pendulum principle, right? Pull it hard to one extreme, it swings back equally far to the other.
He uses the example of a chain smoker.
Right. Their life becomes consumed first by the extreme of smoking, then maybe by the equally extreme, all-consuming effort of quitting. Both extremes just waste energy and prevent real forward movement.
So the way, the Tao, is in the middle, where the energies are balanced.
Exactly. To stop the pendulum of your inner reactions, your likes and dislikes, your pushing and pulling, you learn to leave it alone. You don't participate in them. You just observe. And eventually, it naturally returns to center, which will get filled with energy.
And when you're living more in the Tao, life's events seem to unfold in slow motion. They appear less confusing.
Because you're not caught in that frantic reactive swing from one extreme to the other. He uses the analogy of sailing a boat.
Finding the sweet spot.
Right, you have to constantly adjust, finding that perfect sweet spot of balance between the wind, the sail, the rudder, not too much and not too little. That's how you live in harmony with the flow of life.
He also uses that metaphor of living blind in the Tao, using a cane.
Yeah, like a blind person using a cane to gently feel for the edges, the extremes of comfort or discomfort, attraction or aversion, but learning not to go there, not to crash into them. That's how you stay in the way, constantly calibrating, staying centered.
And spirituality, he concludes, is ultimately the commitment to go beyond, always pushing your limits, exploring those edges.
But not by fighting them. The edge is insecurity, jealousy, fear. They aren't things to pull back from in terror. They are actually pointers. You relax into them, observe them because they point your way to freedom. They show you exactly where your resistance, your samskaras, still lie.
This whole process of spiritual growth, then, is described as a felt experience, like drifting upward, moving from lower vibrations, anger, fear, resentment towards more spaciousness, more distance from those reactive emotions.
Yeah, you start identifying more with spirit, with awareness itself, than with your physical or psychological form. Your whole inner backdrop changes. It shifts from anxiety or neediness to something like love for no reason, just a natural openness, a sense of beauty, appreciation. Spirit, he says, always feels good. It always feels high. It always feels open and light.
And the way to center on spirit isn't by striving or reaching for it.
No, it's not by reaching for spirit, but by letting go of the rest. Letting go of the thoughts, the emotions, the identifications that are not spirit.
This ultimately leads to the description of merging, right? The individual drop of consciousness, the Atman.
Merging into the universal oneness, the Paramatman.
Right.
Like a single drop of water finally merging back into the vast ocean. This, he suggests, is the direct experiential truth behind profound spiritual statements like, I and my Father are one.
So how do you truly know God then, according to Singer? Not through books or arguments.
No, not through intellectual understanding alone, but through direct experience. He asks you to imagine looking at people the way you might look at a beautiful botanical garden.
Seeing all the variety.
Seeing beauty in all the incredibly varied shapes and forms without judgment, without preference, just appreciating the diversity. What if you felt that way about people, he asks. That's a glimpse of the divine perspective.
And it powerfully challenges the common idea of a judgmental God, doesn't it?
Absolutely. True love, he argues, sees nothing but beauty in its beloved. He uses the example of the unconditional love a mother might feel for her challenged child. God's way is love, and his eyes look upon all of creation with infinite love and unconditional compassion.
He brings in parables like the prodigal son, the father just welcoming the son back with open arms.
Or Christ's forgiveness on the cross. And just look at nature itself. The sun shines equally on everyone. Air is available to all. Fruit just gives itself freely from the tree. We are the ones who punish ourselves by choosing not to receive, by closing ourselves off. But creation continues to sustain you regardless.
So the invitation is simple. Turn toward God, toward that source, without apology, without guilt, just like turning your face toward the sun to feel its warmth.
Because God's fundamental nature is eternal conscious bliss, Satchitananda. Ecstasy, Singer says boldly, is the only thing God knows.
And when you start to experience that joy, that ecstasy within yourself, when you align with that fundamental nature,
Then nothing will upset or disappoint you. Nothing will create a problem. It will all appear as part of the beautiful dance of creation unfolding before you. You're no longer fighting reality, you're flowing with it.
so this deep dive into the untethered soul has really shown us, I think, the transformative power of understanding our true self as the witness, letting go of all that inner resistance, embracing unconditional happiness, and ultimately finding profound liberation.
It's quite a journey laid out in the book, and we really encourage you, the listener, to actively practice this self-observation, this letting go in your daily life. It's not about a one-time fix, is it? It's a continuous journey of unfolding.
Definitely not. And maybe as a final thought to leave you with, consider this. Are you willing to embrace the inevitable discomfort that comes with growth? To really step out of that self-built house of thoughts, as Singer calls it, and into the infinite ocean of light that he describes?
Or will you continue the endless, exhausting struggle of trying to figure out how to keep things from happening, or you're trying to figure out what to do because they did happen?
To live spiritually, as the untethered soul so powerfully suggests, is to fundamentally choose to not participate in this struggle. The choice, as always, is yours.